Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tunneling deep, really deep into the plans for the Century Ark. It's this vision for a self-sustainable underground habitat designed for 101 families and get this, for 16 decades. That's 160 years.
Yeah, it's quite something. And our mission really is to look at the feasibility. I mean, is this even possible? It's trying to blend some seriously advanced engineering with, well, a completely closed loop, zero waste economy. A very tall order.
And the architecture itself is pretty wild, isn't it? An inverted semisphere, all built from these standardized 3D octagon modules. It sounds like something out of 1960s metabolic architecture.
Exactly. That whole philosophy of buildings being dynamic, like living systems almost. Yeah. Components designed for easy replacement. Think giant plug-and-play part.
Okay, but easy replacement usually means, open air, cranes. Doing that underground in a sealed environment, that sounds like a massive headache.
It's a huge friction point. Because every single module exchange, every swap, needs complex internal airlocks, multi-stage ones. You have to maintain that critical NBRC sealed nuclear, biological, radiological, chemical, plus the atmospheric pressure. It kind of defeats the easy replacement idea, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So, okay, extreme survival. How do you start designing for 160 years underground, especially when the main defense, this 100-foot thick transparent shield they mention? Well, they admit it's beyond current material science.
Right, that's the first major hurdle, extreme resilience.
Yeah.
The transparency part is aspirational, let's say. But for the structural bulk, the sheer strength needed to handle potential threats and just, exist for 160 years. They're looking at geopolymers.
Geopolymers.
Yeah. They're these highly durable inorganic materials. The key thing is they don't degrade under radiation or shear forces like typical organic polymers would. So for absorbing massive energy over that time span, they're pretty much seen as the only viable option for the main structure.
Okay, so the structure might hold, but what about the air inside? 160 years is a long time to keep an atmosphere breathable and stable. They're aiming for less than 1% leakage per year. That seems incredibly low. Biosphere 2 had, what, 10%?
10%, yeah, and that was considered a huge challenge. So 1% is a massive leap in engineering. Ultra-high closure. But there's an interesting angle here related to efficiency, an engineering economy insight.
Oh.
Medical studies they cite confirm that people can be perfectly healthy at slightly lower oxygen levels. So if you operate the whole habitat at a lower partial pressure of oxygen, you drastically cut the energy needed to generate and scrub the air. And it reduces the physical stress on that massive 100-foot shell. It's clever, actually.
Huh. Okay, that makes sense. But then there's the economy, this zero waste idea. They have an internal currency credits tied directly to productivity using home 3D printers.
Exactly. And this is maybe the most critical part, socially and technologically. The entire economic stability hangs on achieving a perfectly closed material loop. 100%.
100%? How does that even work?
Well, the concept is every single residential 3D printer has its own automated local recycling unit right alongside it. This unit has to take all the waste, leftover plastic, failed prints, discarded objects, and process it back into usable filament with absolutely zero loss. And you only earn credits if the system verifies that 100% recycling happened. Your labor value is literally tied to your recycler's perfection.
Wow. Okay. No pressure there. And beyond mere survival and economics, what about, living there, quality of life?
That's where the octagon modules and smart home tech come in. Every surface inside your module can supposedly be customized in real time. Like change your bedroom walls to look like an arcade or a forest or whatever you want instantly. Decor, entertainment, ambiance.
So kind of like a personal holodeck in every room.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Managed by AI, running through the structure itself. It's this idea of behavioral architecture shaping reality constantly for 160 years. Needs incredibly reliable systems, obviously.
So putting it all together, the Century Ark really depends on perfecting a whole suite of technologies that, right now, are basically just promises on paper. The 100% recycling, the 1% leak rate, those geopolymers for the transparent shield.
Precisely. It's a fascinating thought experiment, but the technological leaps required are enormous. We should also quickly mention the governance of the capital core. Administration, religion, law, culture, all centralized. And it's got these layered AI security protocols designed to lock down the entire habitat, seal every single octagon in less than a second if there's an emergency.
Less than a second, okay. Which brings us back to that economy, tied to the recycling. If the value system depends on 100% efficiency, what happens if they only manage 99%? What's the 1% that accumulates over 160 years? What kind of waste builds up, and where does it even go in a perfectly closed system? What does that do to the social contract? Something for you to think about.